Hey guys, so this is another review of the Toroline string called What The Hybrid. It is a hybrid of Wasabi green and Toro Toro pink as a cross string. I also tried their experimental blend of Toro Toro with Enso Pro. So far, in the Vcore tour, this was my favorite. I also tried full bed of Loxilon original and full bed of Signum Pro Firestorm, and I would say that with Toro Toro Enso Pro hybrid I was getting pretty much similar control with more pop and maybe more bite, despite the fact that maybe if someone asked me for pure spin-oriented hybrid, I would look maybe toward this What The Hybrid setup. Choosing string for the Vcore Tour is a bit tricky because this frame is really hard to tame. Loxilon Original, Signum Pro Firestorm, 130 gauges, very control-oriented strings, and with those I still kind of struggled to get the sensation of a, let's say, control-oriented frame. And in some ways it is a control-oriented frame, but maybe pushed a bit towards those more responsive control-oriented frames. So when I try to put a stiff string in it, I kinda have to maybe lower the tension to get the feel, and with this the launch angle becomes too unpredictable. I found out that my happy sweet spot regarding tension for the Vcore Tour is around 50 pounds. Strings react differently at different tensions, and with this setup I feel like I would have to go down in tension to get this feel and get this pocketing sensation, because the string setup itself is maybe more towards those control oriented rackets, and you can then drop in tension much lower, and then you have this pocketing and spin. So I believe this setup is the current setup of Toroline's owner, and he's using blade. So it makes kind of more sense, because in the blade you can go really low in tension, like 45 pounds, and this setup could breathe a bit more, I think, in such racket, but you have to provide the control first. The control comes from the blade itself. And with this setup that you can see on the footage, Wasabi green and Toro Toro pink, I wasn't getting enough spin and enough feel and enough forgiveness. It was somewhere in between. My conclusion is that probably the racket was wrong, or maybe the tension was wrong, because I could feel the potential being on the edge but not crossing over. I wasn't getting enough in either category to really exploit the advantage of this hybrid. So I think that you should try this setup in a much more control-oriented racket than the Vcore Tour, like maybe Prestige, maybe Radical Pro, Radical MP, blades for sure, and go low in tension. That way I think you will get more pocketing, more spin, without sacrificing anything. When compared to maybe Toroline's hybrid that I like the most so far, which is Toro Toro with Enso Pro, I think the biggest advantage here was maybe on slices and volleys and touch shots. I think with the previous hybrid I used, Toro Toro, actually I think it was Super Toro with Enso Pro, but I guess it's still within the range of the same hybrid. Sometimes the ball was reacting a bit different on slices. I experienced some random drops in power potential, despite it being a lively setup. So with this hybrid, I think the response was a bit more even, but the launch angle was slightly higher. Which maybe makes sense because with the Super Toro Enso Pro you have a round string in the crosses, and this probably always helps adding this predictability to the string bed. And six-sided in general, I think strings are slightly more predictable. And for such racket as Vcore Tour, I think this predictability and linear response is working to advantage. I keep experimenting with Vcore Tour setups, especially I struggle a bit with the handle and the shape of the handle. I'll make another episode about it, but in short, I feel like I'm in between the sizes L2 and L3. L3 feels a bit too big and L2 a bit too small. Maybe racket plays a factor as well, because I went with the bigger L3 grip with the Percept line, and a smaller with Vcore line. And Vcore is a spin-oriented racket, so it kind of inspired me to go with smaller handle size to get maybe this more movement, more wrist snap, and Percept line being this control-oriented line, and maybe shift the playstyle toward those linear laser-like shots, maybe this more locked wrist, more locked movement, more stable grip could maybe help me use the racket a bit better. But yeah, it's a very feel-oriented discussion now. So far, Super Toro Enso Pro, or maybe Toro Toro Enso Pro, is my favorite setup in the Vcore Tour. I still need to try some other setups. I think I'll try Solinco Turbite or Solinco Turbite Soft. I could potentially experience same issue as with the Wasabi Toro Toro hybrid, because it is slightly on a stiffer side. I could maybe kill the feel and not get enough control anyway, so this is the question mark here. Also, probably many of you will think about the K-Pop comparison, and I haven't tried in the same racket, so it won't be a clear answer, but my feeling is that K-pop has a bit better pocketing sensation. Maybe Caviar is a bit softer than Toro Toro. Hard to say. Because I compared K-pop with the full bed Toro Toro, and I felt that Toro Toro gives me a bit more pop, a bit more trampoline effect, but at the same time maybe Wasabi was the one string in the hybrid that gave me more control, which also could make some sense. So I think overall in K-pop as a one string, let's simplify things. I experience a bit more predictability and a bit more pocketing sensation, but still within the range of those spin-oriented strings like Turbite and maybe Bass Cannon Ultra Cable. So yeah, full review is coming to you. No worries. I'm just trying to put some videos as soon as possible, and it's not always working the way I would like to. I'm still struggling with some issues, SARS being my main concern. But yeah, as soon as I settle with at least maybe 3 rackets, then I think I will be shifting my focus towards problem solving. Now I'm just trying to feel what is right for me, for my body, for my play style, and then I will narrow down the choices and really go in depth with my reviews and with my future racket of choice. So yeah, subscribe and see you soon.